The reason why you want to have financial independence, where your money passively is earning you more than what you could be doing actively, is because that way you can do what you love because you love to do it, not because you have to do it.
Do you want to achieve financial freedom but don't want to go through the pain of reading? Don't worry, Dr. Demartini explains the most effective and kept secret of the rich. Dr. John Demartini clearly explains the biggest secret of the rich. Want to know what is it about? Do keep watching. Only 1% of people achieve financial freedom. As a result, 99% of the population is deluded.
When I ask them how many are, a lot of hands go down, 99% of them. And the 1%ers are the ones that actually understand that if they want to have financial independence and freedom and financial wealth, they have to value it. That means they'll study it, that means they'll mentor under it, that means they'll take the actions on it. And until you see those actions overriding the other actions, you really don't have a value on financial wealth.
And if you ask them what they would do with 10 million bucks, they will tell you what they would do with their lives. It's a safe bet that 2 to 8 million of those dollars will be spent in under a minute. If you ask them what they would do if they had $10 million, they'll list all the things they'd buy, such as that car, that trip, and it'll be all consumers, all depreciate. They have no real drive to acquire riches as long as they spend their money on depreciable and consumables. They must invest and purchase items that will appreciate in value. They must be wealthy if they wish to be wealthy. First and foremost, you must determine what you have done in your life, how it has benefited you and others, and remove any shame or guilt.
You could have it possibly in the form of a business, just purely a business. Different people have different forms of wealth. And whatever they have on the hierarchy of their values, the priorities that they live their life by, that determines the way their wealth is manifested. And what's interesting is many people don't realize that in order to have financial wealth, they have to have a value on financial wealth.
Then you should take a seat and consider what you're actually going to do, because you won't grow wealthy unless you serve people. And if you aren't dedicated to serving people, you'll end up with a money illusion. You must ensure that you have a genuine desire to help others. You must place a monetary value on riches, because if you don't place a true value on your wealth, you'll waste it. If spending money is more important to you than saving it, invest it. It will continue to vanish because money moves throughout the economy from those who value it the least to those who value it the most. As a result, wealth creation must take precedence over expenditure. You must prioritize serving others over taking, and you must be able to devote yourself to something that is truly consistent with your principles, or you will not stick with it. You won't be able to generate momentum and perseverance towards a goal. People who have set up automatic savings are eager to study and research on a regular basis because they value wealth creation. Warren Buffett had already read all of the works on wealth building in the Omaha, Nebraska library by the age of 11. He was adamant about the outcome. People are serious about accumulating money. They study it, research it, mentor under it, put it into practice, and have savings and investment systems in place. They are continuously attempting to assist others, and in the end, they wish to establish a business. What happens is that each person has a set of priorities, values, and things that are most essential to least significant in their lives. They set goals aligned with their highest ideals. Whenever they do so, they develop into the most powerful and effective individuals they can. They're at their most thankful and resilient during this time. This is the time in their lives when they are the most disciplined and fulfilled. They procrastinate, hesitate, frustrate, and become victims of their history rather than masters of their destiny. Whenever they live by lesser values and try to infuse the values of others or reduce themselves and live by lower value systems. So you see how people occupy their area and how they spend their time. You examine what they're disciplined about, focused on where they're most organized, when they spend the most money, what energizes them the most, what they think about, visualize, affirm, and converse with others about the most that are in line with what they're creating in life, what they're inspired by, what their goals are, and what they enjoy learning.
Everybody has wealth. It's called general wealth, and it's in those areas I mentioned, but it may not be in financial wealth. I know people that work very, very hard, and they put all their money back into their family, and they've got a magnificent family and a beautiful home and a great lifestyle, but they have no financial wealth.
If you look for common threads in those questions, you'll be able to narrow down what you're passionate about and what you can't wait to do when you wake up in the morning. Anyone who sets objectives and intentions that are in keeping with their highest values has the best chance of being spontaneously motivated to get up and execute it first thing in the morning. So, if you have a business owner who has discovered what is most meaningful to them, they have discovered the tap dance to work energy. As Bill Pollock, the owner of Drake Corporation, said, "Since 1951, when I discovered what I enjoy doing, I've never worked a day in my life." Additionally, an entrepreneur must determine their target market's top values to provide a service that fits those needs. So figuring out your own values and other people's values that you want to serve is crucial, because you're here to discover something that serves others while also being significant to you. If you can locate those two, you found your specialty and know exactly what you want to do when you wake up in the morning, and you get to do exactly what people want and satisfy their lives, because everyone has a set of priorities and values in their lives. As you go down the list of values to lower values, you become less inspired and happy by performing them. When you procrastinate on doing them, you'll only do them if it's enjoyable. If it isn't, you will give up. So make sure that everything you do is a top priority, especially the one that means the most to you, so you don't give up. You're resilient and willing to accept both pain and pleasure in the quest for a greater goal. If you're not living up to your highest principles because you're only willing to do it for pleasure, you'll need constant encouragement to keep going. The difference between inspiration that comes from within and motivation that comes from without is the people who are inspired from within, living by their highest values, whereas people who need motivation from without haven't found that highest value or living by lower values, and they require constant incentives, motivation, and only pleasure to keep them going. Our animal nature requires motivation, since the animal has an instinct for prey and pleasure and an inclination to avoid pain and predators. But our true nature, the one that activates the telencephalon in the brain, the executive centers of the brain, which allows you to be an executive and a leader in the world, transcends the pain-pleasure amygdala reaction of the lower animal within us, allowing us to function from an inner core mission that transcends, that allows us to embrace pain-pleasure support challenges, difficulties, any complementary pair of opposites that you face along the way. It's an unrealistic assumption to expect to be able to glide between two skyscrapers. You'll give up if you're expecting yourself to do something that isn't actually high on your priorities and meaningful to you, or expecting another human being to act in a way that violates the laws of the universe, or to live a life that contradicts their principles, because every person makes judgments based on what will provide them with the greatest benefit over disadvantage, the greatest reward for taking a chance on their highest values.
If you'd like to change whatever form of wealth you have into financial wealth, it's going to require that you have a high value on wealth building, financial wealth building. Money circulates through the economy from those who value it least to those who value it most. And if you don't have a work ethic where you desire to serve people, you're probably not going to have a great source of income.
So if you expect yourself to do something that isn't really meaningful to you, it may seem like a fun whim. Still, it isn't you. You'll end up self-defeating and suffering from negativity. internal anger and aggression, internal blame and feelings of betrayal, internal criticism and challenge, internal hopelessness, despair and depression, as well as negativity that you have internally, which some people refer to. And we know it's real if we can picture it in our heads, see the approach, understand the steps, and know it's doable. That's the key. When you have a realistic expectation, you will continue to put forth effort and proof of manifesting what you desire. The best way to manifest is to start with little goals that you can reach and then train yourself to do what you say. If you train yourself to do what you say, you'll end up manifesting things if you set congruent goals that are truly meaningful to you and start chunking them down into small enough bites. If you just keep doing things and rewarding yourself for completing immediate steps, you'll end up manifesting things because you simply strategize your way into the bigger game. Did you find this video informative or helpful? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss on my future videos. Don't forget to like and share.